There's a place in America where time moves differently. Where horse-drawn buggies pass by modern highways, where candlelight still flickers in homes untouched by electricity, and where the rules of faith are written not in books, but in the unspoken code of survival. The Amish live by the Ordnung, a sacred set of traditions that governs every breath, every choice, every moment of their existence. But what happens when who you are conflicts with everything you've been taught to be? What happens when love itself becomes the forbidden thing? This is the story of silence, sacrifice, and the impossible choice between belonging and being yourself. 1. The Ordnung, where everything is written. To understand the lives of Amish lesbians, you must first understand the world they inhabit, a world built not on individualism, but on absolute conformity. The Ordnung is not a document you can read or a law you can challenge. It is the invisible architecture of Amish life, dictating how they dress, how they work, how they worship, and most importantly, how they love. Marriage is sacred, ordained only between man and woman. Sexuality exists within one narrow channel, and anything outside of it is not just discouraged, it is erased. This is not a culture of debate or dialogue. It is a culture of silence. And for those who feel something different stirring inside them, that silence becomes a prison with no walls and no escape. 2. The weight of family, raised for one destiny. From the moment an Amish girl is born, her future is already written. She will grow up, marry a man from the community, bear children, and uphold the family name. Courtship begins in youth, singings, barn dances, church gatherings where young people meet under watchful eyes. By her early 20s, she is expected to be a wife. But what if that future feels like a costume that doesn't fit? What if every mention of marriage feels like a tightening noose? For lesbians within the Amish, the pressure is suffocating. It comes not with shouting or confrontation, but with quiet glances, whispered concerns, and the unspoken question, why isn't she courting yet? The family's reputation is fragile, built on generations of obedience. One deviation can shatter it. And so, many suppress what they feel, bury it deep, and move forward into marriages they never wanted, living lives that belong to someone else. 3. The church's grip, where sin and identity collide. The Amish church is not just a place of worship, it is the beating heart of the community, the final authority on right and wrong. And on the subject of homosexuality, the church's position is absolute. It is sin. Not identity, not orientation, but temptation to be resisted like any other weakness of the flesh. If suspicions arise, if a young woman seems too close to a friend, if she resists marriage too long, the bishops and ministers will act. Not with violence, but with quiet, deliberate intervention. They will counsel repentance, urge prayer, and push her toward a heterosexual marriage as the solution. If she refuses, if she dares to speak her truth aloud, the consequences are severe. Excommunication. The ban. Shunning. These are not empty threats, they are spiritual and social death sentences, cutting her off from every meal, every conversation, every moment of fellowship. The church does not need to be cruel. Its power lies in its ability to make disobedience unbearable. 4. Living in shadows, the burden of secrecy. Words like gay or lesbian are almost never spoken in Amish communities. They exist in the margins, in whispers, in the things people refuse to name. For women who experience same-sex attraction, this silence becomes a survival strategy. They learn to hide, to suppress, to live double lives. Outwardly, they conform, attending church, helping with chores, smiling at gatherings. Inwardly, they carry a truth so heavy it threatens to crush them. Some even marry men, hoping the feelings will fade, hoping that obedience will bring peace. But the weight of secrecy is relentless. It seeps into every interaction, every prayer, every moment of supposed joy. To admit the truth would be seen as pride, rebellion, the ultimate betrayal of humility. And so they remain silent, invisible, living in the narrow space between who they are and who they must pretend to be. 5. The breaking point, when silence becomes unbearable. For some, the silence eventually becomes too much. The pressure, the pretending, the slow erasure of self, it all reaches a breaking point. And when it does, there is only one way out: leave. But leaving the Amish is not like leaving a town or a job. It is leaving an entire universe. Family, faith, identity, security, all of it vanishes the moment you step across that invisible line. For lesbians, this decision is especially agonizing because they know what they're walking toward: freedom, yes, but also isolation. Their families will grieve them as if they've died. Their names will be spoken with sorrow, their choices framed as spiritual tragedy. Parents will plead for them to return, not with anger, but with desperation, convinced that their daughter's soul is in danger. The Amish see their community as the only path to salvation, and to leave it is to choose damnation. 6. The outside world, overwhelming and electric. The world outside the Amish is a sensory overload. Technology, noise, speed, choice, everything the Ordnung protected them from now crashes down all at once. For lesbians who leave, the adjustment is both terrifying and exhilarating. They must learn to navigate a world they were taught to fear, a world that once seemed sinful and dangerous. But it is also the first time they can breathe. Here, they can say the words they could never say before. They can explore their identity without fear of discipline or shunning. Many connect with LGBTQ communities, find acceptance, build new lives. But even in this freedom, the pain lingers. Because the cost of leaving is not just geographic, it is relational. Family members still within the Ordnung will often refuse to eat with them, socialize with them, or acknowledge them fully. Shunning is designed to be a warning to others, a deterrent to prevent more from following the same path. And so, even in freedom, they are haunted by loss. 7. The ones who stay, surviving in silence. Not everyone leaves. Some choose to stay, or feel they have no other choice. They remain in the community, burying their truth deeper with each passing year. They marry men, raise children, fulfill their duties. From the outside, they appear content, integrated, faithful. But inside, they are living a quiet kind of death. Every day is a performance, every interaction a reminder of what they must never say. Some find ways to cope, throwing themselves into work, into faith, into service. Others simply endure, waiting for a peace that never comes. The tragedy is not that they are punished openly, but that they are erased slowly, invisibly, until even they begin to forget who they really are. The Amish do not need to be violent to enforce conformity. The weight of expectation, the fear of exile, the love of family, these are chains stronger than any law. 8. The price of authenticity, freedom and exile. Amish families sitting together at dinner, one chair conspicuously empty. For those who leave, freedom is bittersweet. They gain the ability to live openly, to love without shame, to exist as themselves. But they lose connection to the people who raised them, the community that once defined them. It is a trade-off that never feels fair. Authenticity comes at the cost of belonging, and belonging comes at the cost of self. There is no middle ground in the Amish world. You are either inside the Ordnung or outside of it. And once you cross that line, there is rarely a way back. Former Amish lesbians often describe their experience as grief mixed with relief, mourning the family they've lost while celebrating the life they've gained. It is a complexity outsiders struggle to understand, because most people never have to choose between their identity and their entire world. 9. The system that doesn't need cruelty. The Amish do not need to be cruel to control. They do not need violence or hatred to enforce their rules. Their power lies in something far more subtle, the architecture of belonging. Every aspect of Amish life is designed to make conformity easy and deviation unbearable. The community offers security, identity, purpose, but only if you follow the Ordnung. Stray from it, and you lose everything. For lesbians, this system is particularly devastating because their very existence is a challenge to its foundation. They are not allowed to be different. They are not allowed to be themselves. And so, the community treats them not with aggression, but with silence, pressure, and the quiet withdrawal of love. It is a form of control that leaves no visible scars, but cuts just as deep. 10. The quiet resistance, stories that refuse to stay buried. Despite the silence, stories are beginning to emerge. Former Amish lesbians are speaking out, sharing their experiences, naming the pain that was never supposed to be spoken. These are not loud revolutions or public protests. They are quiet acts of resistance, blog posts, memoirs, interviews, small cracks in the wall of secrecy. Each story is a testament to survival, or refusal to let the Ordnung erase them completely. They are proof that even in the most controlled environments, the human need for authenticity cannot be fully suppressed. These women are building new communities, finding chosen families, and redefining what belonging means on their own terms. They are no longer invisible. And their voices, though still few, are growing louder. The Amish treat lesbians not with hatred, but with something far more insidious, erasure. They build a world where difference cannot exist, where identity must be sacrificed for the sake of unity, where love itself must be hidden to preserve tradition. It is a system that asks individuals to carry impossible burdens in silence, to choose between their truth and their community, between freedom and family. And for those who stay, the cost is a lifetime of hiding. For those who leave, the cost is a lifetime of longing. There are no easy answers here, no villains and heroes, only people caught between two worlds, one that offers belonging without freedom, and one that offers freedom without belonging. And in that impossible space, they must decide who they are willing to become.